before we begin, it is important to ask and answer this question. Why are we talking about the sun and solar panels in a worship service? What's faith got to do with it?
Well,
when we have faith, we have hope. So that's the wonderful thing about working in the faith community. We know there's a power larger than the sum of our parts that is acting through us, and that gives us hope and inspiration for the future.
How I live every moment of my day actually makes a difference. It matters. We're just starting to realize that we're part of this earth. We can't not be part of it.
So as religious communities, knowing that we can have a hand in healing this environment and this Mother Earth is empowering, it's exciting, and it rallies a community.
So it's so good to have you young people here with us this morning to celebrate something very exciting, a new source of energy for your church.
Minnesota is a state full of people who really value the environment. Organizations and groups from different cultures who are asking that question, how can we create a world that is more just and sustainable? And seeking to work together to make that happen.
What's exciting about an interfaith movement is that, each organization, each faith tradition looks at their moral calling in a little bit of a different way, and in order to create a really vibrant interfaith movement, we need to hear a lot of different stories.
Sustainability overall is a very Jewish idea. We are clearly not owning the land. We are stewards of the land. That is in Genesis. It is in every book of the Torah.
St. Luke has a vision statement. One of the core values in that statement is this: we are connected. The world is our home, and anything that happens to any part of creation happens to us all.
What do churches do? They're supposed to inspire us to action, help us find our calling, find deeper meaning in the world. That's what it's for.
We're working with faith communities who want to find some practical solutions, whether it is becoming more energy conservative or getting alternative energy in your own building or growing gardens together. Figure out how exactly to link those practical solutions together to have a larger impact.
Every year, we put out a challenge for congregations to let us know what they're doing to save energy, to utilize renewable energy, to inspire their communities to be involved in these solutions that are at hand.
I got a text from a mosque saying, I heard you're doing zero waste. Can you help us do it? And I said, we are going to do this with you, absolutely. So it allows interfaith work to happen with us combining our efforts and coming together to make this world better.
I mean, it makes no difference if they're Jewish or Buddhist or agnostic or whatever. I mean, they have the same faith.
We are putting solar panels on our roof. We are constructing rain gardens. We've got a vegetable garden where there used to be grass, and we give that food to the local food bank.
It's based on permaculture principles, which is a way of growing things that emulates nature.
Very, very simple things like what plants benefit other plants, what plants bring in bees. Everybody's interested in that.
We are working with congregations to help them install renewable energy in their facilities, save energy, calculate their carbon footprints, and also to teach and preach about this issue.
All churches that come together, if you ask them, one of their top priorities would be caring for our children.
So at MNIPL, we're bringing together youth from different faith communities and supporting them in developing leadership skills and finding their voice to turn and lead in their own faith community so that those faith communities become even more activated, and then the youth are supported to grow and to flourish in their own lives.
People are not only in it for climate change, but for the fact that the community itself is so based on nurturing future generations. It seems such an abnormal sight. 8-year-olds and 18-year-olds and 40-year-olds and 80-year-olds all interacting in such a way, each wanting to hear what the other has to say.
IPL has got a dear place in my heart. I think they are doing great work with faith congregations.
An amazing opportunity to teach, to make sure our kids understand that their job is sustainability.
Beyond that, we have congregations very active in policy advocacy.
We created legislation that basically says we encourage all United Methodist congregations in Minnesota to reduce their carbon footprint 10% by 2016. No one spoke against it. So it was a lovely moment, actually, to listen to old men, young women, everything in between, stand up and say we should do this.
I think one of the reasons we were most excited about what's happened here today with the energy audit, we know that we can make some change right here locally, but that's not enough to solve the problem. But if we, our small little church, can be an example for other United Methodist churches that are kind of thinking, how does this thing work? What does it look like? Is it scary? I don't know. And because of our partnership with Interfaith Power and Light, both locally here with the Minnesota chapter and the national as well, that provides additional opportunities to share, to go beyond our denomination, to go beyond our state. So that's what really makes me excited about this.
People are so positive about the little things that they can do or are already doing and understanding how it fits with the bigger picture, that churches are so fun to work with because they've already kind of set the seed in place to be ready for us to come and talk about energy efficiency. Utility demand reduction is the words we use on our side, and set them on a path of using less energy.
So it really gets down to the practical level of actually finding out what you can do in your building and then implementing it. It's not rocket science, and it's not really exotic, but it's real practical solutions.
And that stuff is cumulative. It's really coming together that they are all different pieces of the same sphere that just depends on how you come to look at it, whether it's from an energy perspective or a stewardship perspective or an environmental perspective. It all fits together perfectly.
We just certified our first 20 cool congregations this year, and on average, they are reducing their carbon emissions by 42%. So this is far beyond the goal that has been set by the President in the Climate Action Plan. So we think we're really leading and showing the way.
Recently, during the annual conference of the Minnesota United Methodist Church, we were searching for an image or a metaphor for what it is to be fearless in the face of whatever challenge, particularly environmental challenge. And what we finally found was the image of a dandelion, because here we have this flower that everybody tries to kill. It won't die. You know, you chop it off, you poison it, it will be back. And you have this golden flower, and there's nothing grand about it at all. It's not a rose, it's not an exotic bird of paradise, it's a dandelion. They grow everywhere. They don't belong to anybody, so they belong to everybody. But you blow on that seed pod and the seeds are going everywhere.
So we asked people to think about practical changes that they can make in their lives and in their community. We asked them to think about how what they're doing is part of a bigger movement, so movement building or systemic change. And we asked them to think about how are they deepening their spiritual connection to the earth? What does this mean to them personally and to them in their relationships? So if all activities can have an element of each of those, it's a really exciting way to move forward.
It's so thrilling to know that interfaith doesn't always have to be about our differences or even about teaching each other about our traditions, but to work together to make this world better. That's bringing interfaith relations to a new level, and that's exciting.
And so as people of faith who care about our brothers and sisters, we are morally called and obligated then to engage in the climate crisis.
Pastors are preaching on it, choirs are singing about it. So there's this life that's just saying, it's right there under the soil getting ready to break through. And a dandelion will come through a sidewalk if it has to. And so will we.
We have congregations calling us every day, coming online, entering the Cool Congregations Challenge, asking for information. So that gives us hope on a daily basis that this movement is building, and I believe there is a change in consciousness right now happening in this country. We're on the beginning of a wave. We see solar panels, as we see here in this congregation, popping up beside steeples all over the country, and that's sending a message that this is a moral issue, this is a values issue. Caring for the creation is something that all people can care about as an important issue to conserve the environment and to care for future generations and the future of their children.